jack it up. So I said, no, 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 it was supposed to be my pentakill. Why did you do that to me? I killed, I know, 1, 2, 3 for champions. I can't do.
Hello, hello, hello. Mic check 1, 2. Just making sure everything is going okay. I have no idea why this song was even playing in the first place, but hello, welcome everyone. I can hear myself on a different platform, so I guess we are all good to go. Hello everyone, this is KID, I'm the man, bringing you all another live stream review. This time we are going to be taking a look at Hello Lightning Collector 2021. Welcome to the stream. And today we're going to be taking a look at the remastered red, green, and pink Ranger. So initially I actually wanted to just purchase red and green from my particular dealer, but he only sells it in a set, so I have to get pink as the end results, because honestly I, in a way kind of am done with collecting the Mighty Morphin Rangers. But since these are the special exception, and I do mean the special exception would just be red and green. Okay, so I guess without further ado, we all can begin. Let me just record this particular live stream just in case if I, just in case if my particular scheduling time to make a solo review out of all of these lovely characters, what do you call it, doesn't, or it really does take a lot of time for me to edit. So that's why I'm recording this live stream. So that way, if I were to do any kind of live stream playback or live stream highlights, then anyone else could be, or everyone else would be able to enjoy these lovely characters here so far. So what we're going to do here is, before that, let me just record a introduction for this particular video. Hello everyone, this is KID and the man bringing you all another live stream review. This time we're going to be taking a look at the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Remastered series of Red Ranger, Pink Ranger, and the Green Ranger as well. Okay, so with that particular intro out of the way, we all can begin. So what I'm going to be taking a look at is, since I am wearing a the vital bracelet, the pink color vital bracelet, we're going to be taking a look at the Pink Ranger first. We're just going to be taking a look at it. We're going to be taking a look at her for about like 15 minutes, less than 30 minutes or so, and then we're going to be taking a look at the crown jewels of red and of red and green itself. Okay, so yeah, I guess yeah. It's a Monday night, so most of the time, a lot of people usually hate Mondays, but I guess this is a good Monday nonetheless. Without further ado, let's all begin. So as I mentioned before, we're going to be taking a look at the Pink Ranger first. So we're going to move all of these particular figures, or the particular, oops, and there Pink Ranger goes. We're going to be taking a look at these particular figures. First, I also have brought down the older versions of the Pink Ranger, so that way we can also do a type of comparison with the other versions as well. So that way everyone can all slowly decide whether which particular versions are the better one. So here is the main front side of the packaging. Usually I don't always go through the packaging, but since this is a live stream, we are going to take a look at it for a bit, for a little bit. So this is the new Pink Ranger right now in front of you in the box. This is the new box art itself. On the side here, you do have the Power Rangers 30 symbol. I wonder if, yeah, all of the particular designs on the side of the box, they're all the same. At first, I thought it would be customizable. If the Ranger that you got was pink, pink will be in the middle. If it's red, red will be in the middle, so on and so forth. But I guess I was wrong. But we do have the new particular, or we do have the back of the box here itself. You do have the Pink Ranger holding her particular morpher. That one is quite nice. You do have all of the accessories included. I'm sorry, this one is in a landscape position. Let me just dim down my spotlight a little bit. Yeah, now I can see much more clearly, or now I can see even much more better. So hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Okay, so based on what we are looking at right now, we do have the same effect pieces that comes with all of the remastered versions. So it would be good for every other character that you have to have some kind of a spiral or a tornado type of energy effect piece. That way, any kind of characters that you have, you can pose them with it. You can pose them with that lightning effect piece, so that one is good. Over here, you do have her power bow. This one is more or less the exact same mold as the older ones, which we will get to compare in a little bit. You still do have the same arrow. You do have these three Blade Blaster weapons, the holster mode, the blade mode, and blaster mode. You do have her particular morpher right over here, her new helmet, her new head sculpt, and then
her particular body mode, a new body mode actually. You also do get some new arm accessories as well, so that one is quite good. And of course, on this side of the box, you do get to see what kind of character you would be getting. So in the event if you were to pose this box or keep the box as it is, you would most likely be putting it in this particular direction itself. Yeah, so I guess that should be it with regards to the box. The box is still quite nice, you know, celebrating 30 years of MMPR or basically Power Rangers in general, so that one is good. Hey, you like my Legacy Wall stream? Thanks, man. Thanks. I hope to do that again sometime soon. So as I mentioned before, when I went to my particular dealer's shop, I had the opportunity to open up the box to check and see to make sure everything is in the box itself. And since I am live streaming this particular unboxing or this live review, that basically means that, yeah, all of the accessories are actually available. So we can slowly remove Kimberly out of her plastic prison, or in this case, paper prison, as well as her other accessories too. Over here, okay, that one's done. We do get, usually I'm quite used to the box having all of the, you know, the lightning effects and whatnot, but I guess this time we are stuck with a classic dark blue. So, first things first, we do have Kimberly. Yeah, okay, so there we go. There we have Kimberly right here. She is, you know, it's a very, very pretty looking Kimberly figure, if I do say so myself. I guess what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be taking a look at the figure first, and then afterwards we'll take a look at the accessory second. So that's how these live stream reviews usually are. So I guess without further ado, we all can actually begin. So for Kimberly, you do have a new head sculpt. The head sculpt is pretty nice looking, better than almost all of the other versions. Since this is a remastered type of figure, of course, the remastered head sculpts are going to look much more better than the original first release of all of the Mighty Morphin Rangers. I hope the camera is picking up her particular design quite well. You know, it kind of look like it kind of looks like a sculpted type of face. Not gonna lie, not really 100% accurate, or maybe even like 50% accurate to the actress that portrayed Kimberly, Amy Jo Johnson, but I guess it's the best one we actually got. So no one, I guess there's no point in complaining about it. She does look like she has quite nice looking cheekbones, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. Yeah, just you can see how the face is just curved in such a way, and then the leftover or the remainder of the cheek is just right here on the side. Mm. As for the eyes of the figure, whoops, as for the eyes of the figure, it looks nicely well done as well. I think my particular copy is slightly bit off. It's not really too properly centered, so the eyes, they don't really look like they're in the correct place. It looks like it's slanting more towards the the right hand side for your screen, but the left hand side of the figure itself. As for the new hair sculpt, the hair sculpt is quite pretty. You know, a nice classic short hair version of Kimberly, and of course, she does come with a hairband, a pink color hairband. Because of course, a pink ranger without a pink hairband, you know what? I guess that would be a crime if she didn't have a pink hairband. Okay, so up next, you also do have the new neck sculpt. I guess the best way for me to do this is for me to just remove the head first, and then we can take a look at the neck sculpt of the particular figure. In case all of you don't know, this is also my first time trying to remove the head sculpt, but my main strategy for removing head sculpts is that I try to make the figure look up as high as they can, and then I'll just push it from the neck upwards. So just by getting the leverage, and there you go. So that's much more easier than just trying to yank it out of the neck itself. Okay, so I guess over here we do, this will be the new neck joint of the particular figure. One way for you to distinguish whether if your neck is pointing in the correct direction is that you can kind of see that even though this is a female figure, she does look like she has a Adam's apple. Yeah, you can kind of see the Adam's apple in the shape of a V. So that is one way that you can distinguish, or that's one way that you can distinguish that you are pointing the neck in the correct direction. As for the back of the neck, there's actually nothing much here. Oops, there's actually nothing much here. I'm surprised it doesn't have that zipper line molded onto the back of the neck. Yeah, usually they would always be a zipper line of some kind at the back of the neck, but I guess this time we don't have them. Honestly, it kind of looks a bit weird because I'm so used to looking at the Pink Ranger where the neck and the torso is fused together, and now I get to see that, it looks like the Pink Ranger suit does have a type of collar, if you know what I mean. It's almost like all of the other Ranger suits were the Sentai version suits, and this is the American version suit, or this is the American version suit. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the main articulation of the particular neck joint is that since it is similar to like a dumbbell joint, I can see that the first ball joint that's connected to the neck is slightly a bit stiff, but you can still swivel it around or rotate it around, so that's one is good. For the bottom half or the general direction of the neck, you can actually tilt it forwards and backwards. I don't think you can tilt it forward and backwards very much, but that is the main downside of these new particular neck joints. Also, with regards to the neck joint itself, you can't really make the figure look up as far or look up as high anymore. So if you have noticed, or if you have watched my previously reviewed RPM Yellow Ranger, that is one of the main downsides that I have pointed out. If you watch the Lightspeed Rescue Blue Ranger review as well as the Turbo Red Ranger review, I basically mentioned that the new head sculpts, or the new neck sculpts right now don't allow you to make the figure to look up as high as it can go. The main sacrifice here is that in order for us to get a much more natural look or a much more natural pose of the neck, twisting from side to side, yeah, that is the main sacrifice. Because if you were to make the figure to look left and right, you basically would be allowing the particular Adam's apple, or in this case, Kimberly's apple, to turn or to twist left and right itself. So if she were to look to the right, you twist the neck area to the slightly bit more to the right, so that way it looks more natural when you're looking at two different directions. But the main sacrifice here is that you can't get the figure to look up as far anymore or to look high up anymore. So that is the main downside. That's the main trade-off that we got for this new particular neck joint. Yeah. So let me know what do you think about this new neck joint system. For me, I kind of feel it's okay. We get some nice natural poses, but I guess the main downside is that we still don't get to have figures to look up properly or to look up naturally. Yeah. The hair looks beautiful, much better than the original head. Exactly. The hair looks majestic on the on the new Kimberly head itself. Yeah. Comes off smooth like butter that way. Exactly. Yeah. All right then. Okay, so up next we also do have the main torso of the particular figure. So the main torso is, I believe, considered a new torso itself. Let me double check on the other older figures. Yep, it is a new particular torso. It should be, or more or less, it would be the exact same torso as what we got from the Mighty Morphin Alien Ranger White, the white alien ranger, because the main general idea of these particular remastered figures is that they are using the body mold of all of the other new line of figures itself. Oops, there goes my camera. Let's hope I don't. Okay, I guess I'm back. Okay, so as I was saying before, so they are using the exact same molds as all of the other older ones, sorry, all of the other newer ones. So that basically means is that you can still swivel the body from side to side, this way, both left and right. You still do have the same ab crunch at the center, or at the middle of the particular figure. So that one is much more better, or that one is quite good. Still do have your main butterfly joints. This time Hasbro decided to just make the whole butterfly joint white, so that way it would be in that would be consistent with the back diamonds as well as the front. Speaking of the diamonds, I don't think I have a particular error in mind. Yeah, only the back diamonds are slightly off-centered. They're not, meeting in the middle properly. That's kind of a given. I don't really mind that at all because you're not really going to look at the back of the figure as much. As for the arms of the figure, as if you have seen any kind of reviews on the Alien Rangers or the RPM Yellow, this is the exact same type of new body sorry, the new type of arm joint. You know, you do have the pinless elbow joints, you do have double jointed elbows, and then of course you do have a bicep swivel. Yeah, that is what the particular part is. As for the main gloves here itself, the entirety of the arm, or most or majority of the arm, is all molded in a pink plastic. So that's one. As for the glove part is mainly molded in a white plastic, as you can see from the top of the glove right here. And then afterwards, you do have the pink diamonds just printed on, or basically painted on. Are they dyed on? Let me double check. Yeah, they kind of feel dyed on, but I am not going to make that bet. That basically is a printed on type of pink diamonds on the arms itself. It's still quite nice though. As for the belt, let's see the new belt of Mighty Morphin Pink. Okay, so with regards to the new belt for Mighty Morphin Pink, you do have a much more nicer pterodactyl power coin printed on in the center of the morpher. This time, Hasbro decided to not try to mold the dino coins, and this time they just decided to just print on the image of those dino coins at the morpher here itself. There is still a oops, let me just make sure it's focused properly. There is still a type of bulge in front of the morpher, which is, you know, still appreciated. That way it kind of looks realistic for your particular figure. Yeah, just do be careful wherever you store the figure or wherever you pose it, because since there is a bulge on the morpher, if you were to drop the figure on the floor, you might basically scratch the, you know, the paint, or you might scratch the printed on pterodactyl power coin image. Yeah. As for the rest of the belt, okay, at first I believe, or at first I thought the rest of the black lines on the belt, you know, they were panel lined on. So panel line basically means that there is a type of gap in between this white part here on the top and the main white part of the belt. But it looks like the black lines are just merely painted on. So as you can see, if I were to just move my thumb or my nail over this particular part, it's smooth. It doesn't really have any kind of edges or indents in between those two particular areas. So yeah, that basically means that, you know, the lines are just, you know, printed on, or in a way you could say that it was drawn on. Yeah. However, for the holster, for the holster here itself, this one here, it does have a type of indent. It does have a type of indent in here, and the black paint, you know, the black paint is either painted inside of the indent or it's just painted around that particular indent. So the black paint is kind of overflowing, or it kind of overflowed that particular indent area. Yeah, so that is the black paint for that particular place. Will I be doing a side-by-side comparison with the old body mode? Hello, Fakihin, welcome to the stream. I actually am going to do a side-by-side later on after we take a look at what she comes with. So as for the other white area of the skirt, this is definitely a new skirt. That one, yeah, definitely a new skirt. The split of the skirt is kind of, or it's much more larger. Or yeah, it does have a larger gap. So that way, if you were to make the particular ranger to do a split, which is very risky, mind you, you will be able to do just that. Let me just continue on before I accidentally break her drop down hips for a little bit. Okay, so from here, the white part of the skirt, you know, it's still painted on as well. Just do be careful, since it's painted on, you might chip off the paint and you might just, you know, ruin the figure slightly, just slightly. As for the hips itself, so too bad for everyone, because the hips that we do get are the drop down hips, because if you can see here, right down there in the middle. Hope you guys can see that correctly. Yeah, those are what a drop-down hips look like. So the joint here for the, ooh, okay, no. So the joint here for the, I guess, left leg for the figure, right side for you guys on the screen, it's on the top half, and then the other leg is at the bottom half. Again, as I mentioned earlier, the drop-down hips are kind of a hit or miss for the Lightning collection. Yeah, because most of the time the joints would be basically considered quite loose. You can, move the leg down even more longer, or move the leg down even more, so that way one leg looks like it's longer than the other. That's the main idea of the drop down hips. Plus, it does give you a much more, more range of articulation, or it allows you to pose the figure much more naturally, or much more, I won't say easier. Yeah, if in the event where previously you had trouble posing a female figure that has a skirt itself, hopefully the drop-down hips would be quite an improvement to your particular photos or to your particular pictures. Yeah, that is the drop-down hips for the Pink Ranger. Again, you still continue to have pinless joints on the knees. You still get the same double jointed knees here as well. As for the boot, as for the boots, everything else from here onwards, they're all molded in white plastic with pink diamonds painted on. Oddly enough, since this one is a remastered figure, I honestly would have thought they might have painted the black at the bottom of the boots. Can someone remind me or do a quick Google search? Did the Pink Ranger had black paint at the bottom of the boots? Because my figure doesn't. Well, jokes aside, this one still is quite a interesting or quite a good, Pink Ranger figure. So let me just readjust my camera, and then let me just pull out the main accessories. Let me just put the body mode slightly bit over here for a little bit. You do have here her decapitated head right there on the side, and let's just slowly pour out the main accessories. All right, so that's one here, another one here, and we do get the others as well. Oh, I almost forgot, her main primary weapon comes with the bag that comes with the figure. So I believe almost all of the Mighty Morphin Remastered Rangers all come, their main accessory weapon comes with them in the baggie right there itself. So we do have the new Power Bow. Having it on hand, it really does feel like a much more longer or newer version of the Power Bow. And if you're quite familiar with the older versions, you can see that there are these particular indents here for you to do a Power Blaster combination or Howling Cannon combination. The paint here is quite nice. You do get slightly bit of a paint chip, just slightly, but of course they are nicely painted and it's very white. Yeah, that's gonna turn yellow very soon or very quickly. Up next, we all still do get the arrow that usually comes with a lot of Pink Rangers. Just by looking at it at first glance, it really does look like a basic arrow that we have gotten previously, or we have gotten a lot of times before. We do also have 3 particular blade blasters. So for the blade blasters, I am just going to assume, that these 2 blade blasters here, they are the older versions, the older blade blaster versions, where the tip of those blade blasters, they are not really that enlarged. Yeah, you understand what I mean in a little bit. So this is the holstered version of the Blade Blaster. I guess the main controversy of almost all of the older versions of the Lightning Collection Mighty Morphin Rangers, not everyone got the holstered version, and I think a lot of people, they had to buy extras of, I think it was Mighty Morphin Black. Yeah, I think a lot of people had to buy extras of Mighty Morphin Black just so they could get the hosted versions. And yeah, if you guys were patient enough to wait for the remastered versions, and if you're lucky enough to get the remastered versions, you don't need to do that. And then as for the Blade Blaster in Blade mode, this one, paint-wise, it did come out pretty nicely. If you look closely right here of where my finger is slightly pointing, Yeah, I'm quite surprised they actually painted the gold for the eye section of the Blade Blaster. But can't really say the same for the other side though. Yeah, you can see there's nothing much over here, but there is something on this side. I guess Hasbro forgot to paint that one there. For the others, I guess for the blaster mode, it doesn't really have the eyes over here, but it does have a little peg hole at the tip of the blade blaster in blaster. Sorry, in blaster mode. So if you do have a shooting effect piece, of course you are able to insert that shooting effect piece in the blade blaster in blaster mode, so that way when you're posing this figure with her blade blaster, you know, you will get some nice dynamic poses. You do the paint scheme on it is quite nice. You know, it's molded in a red plastic, painted in white, and with some silver highlights. Yeah, all of the blade blasters are nicely done as well. As for the other effect piece, we do get her morpher. Now, this is a really cool looking morpher, if I do say so myself. I guess it's the first time I've held the remastered version morpher. Yeah, it is quite cool looking, don't you think? You still do get the nice pterodactyl power coin painted on, the same black on the corners, a little bit of pink painted in the middle. I guess the main downside is that Hasbro still, try to save costs by molding the morpher in gray plastic or grayish silver plastic, so that way they get to save paint costs on the morpher itself. Yeah, it is what it is. As for the weapon holding hands that we can see here for Kimberly itself, it does. Oh, sorry. Whoops. Yeah, the weapon holding hands. They do move up and down. On the other side, I guess in your point of view, it will be from side to side. This kind of looks like the exact same one that we've got previously, but I'm gonna have to take the older versions to make a good comparison for later on. But she does get one karate chop hand. Whoops. Yep, she does get one karate chop hand. I believe this one is more or less like her posing hand. You have another posing hand. I guess this one is properly, her roll call posing hand. If everyone remembers, whenever she tries to call for the Zord, yeah. So that's how that posing hand is. Right here, I believe this would be the bow holding hand, but it's kinda. Oh, sorry about that. This one here is the morpher holding hand. Yeah, it's in. I get this is. You gotta forgive me. This is my first. Um, how do you say? This is my first remastered figure, so this would be my first time seeing the new morpher holding hands. And I guess not only that, this one is. Other than this being a posing hand, I mean, it still is a posing hand, but this is what you guys can basically do if you were to pose the figure holding their signature morphers. It's quite cool though, not gonna lie. Over here you do have one singular fist. I guess this particular fist is the exact same one that you would usually get with her karate chop hands. So out of all of these accessories that we have on hand, the only new hands that I've noticed that we got is basically the remastered hands. I'm just basically going to call them the remastered hands because this is what they're going to pose like. Afterwards, you also do have her brand new helmet. Yeah, this one is her brand new helmet sculpt. This time, however, let's just put the helmet on the Ranger body so that way we can get a much more nicer and natural look. Sadly though, after pushing the helmet in, it kind of still, in a way, looked like she doesn't have a neck. I guess that is another main downside of it. Just slowly nudge it up, and and you would then have a much more natural looking Ranger. So here is the Pig Ranger and her new helmet sculpt. I would say new right now because I have not taken out the older version to make a comparison of it yet. Yeah, nicely sculpted, nicely painted, nicely molded. Even the green eyes on the pterodactyl is there as well. Okay, so I guess that one should be it for our first impressions with Mighty Morphin Pink. Oh, and there goes my secondary phone. My secondary phone is most likely dead. So if I want to review or if I want to check out my particular chat, you guys gonna have to give me a while so that I can look up on my computer. Let's just see what chat has to say. The lack of black paint breaks your heart, considering it's supposed to be the definitive figure. You got that I missed it. Indeed. I I I kind of missed that. I kind of missed that comment. I don't know which one were you actually commenting on. LC21. Hey, Jake Lacey, welcome to the stream. Is Hasbro not doing Power Rangers? Hasbro is taking a break from Power Ranger figure making. That is what the hiatus actually means. Stream Power Rangers Legacy Wars next time, man. Next time. You'll have to see the new Morpher pieces. Might be how you post them. Hello, Aditya. Welcome to the stream. Hello, Megadong. Welcome. Okay, so yeah, I guess that one should be it for all of the chat box itself. So now we can do a little bit of comparison, just a little bit. So what I do have here is the Pink Ranger from the Cat 2-pack. You know, this is the Pink Ranger that came with Zeo Ranger 1 Pink. And over here is the original first release of Kimberly herself. So when I say she had the posing hands, I'm actually referring to if she was, you know, making this type of pose, then this would be the posing hand that she would use. So I guess it would be like a 2-for-1 deal, kinda, sorta. Yeah, something like that. Over here we do have the older version of the helmet, or the first release of the helmet. So if you guys can make a quick comparison over here, the older version, or the first iteration of the helmet, the visor isn't really properly heart-shaped. Yeah, so that is one thing that you need to take note of. As for the mouth plate itself, the mouth plate is just a plain mouth. As for the new version, or the remastered mouth plate, yeah, it's much more high def. Yeah, high def, if you uh, if you like to call it that way. Also, the helmet is slightly bit smaller than the original. A little bit, kinda. Kind of looks like a, Alien versus Predator alien hit. Over here is the back of the helmet, and over here is the sides of the helmet itself. I guess one thing to take note of is that all of these, since we've had this helmet for quite some time, I've never really posed it out of the sun, but it does get a little bit yellow, so do with it what you will, or do with that information what you will. So yeah, this one is the older version of the helmet, so that's one thing out. As for the new and old comparison, this is what the older Morpher on the belt would basically look like. Our original Kimberly has a shorter type of skirt. Yeah, and then of course the main torso. So I suppose the main torso here, the remastered version of the torso is much more bigger than the older version. And of course, we do get a better head sculpt. At least this version of Kimberly is smiling. As for the newer versions, this is what you get. Newer version is much more better, but it's much more cleaner. However, it doesn't look as natural. That's my opinion of it, at least. As for the older version, it looks quite high def. I mean, think of it like all of those video games that you play, and they try to make the face look as accurate as possible. Yeah, it kind of looks like that. Oh well, I guess that's what I'm going to do with. I'm just going to be posing that particular Kimberly on the shelf later on, as it is. And then over here we do have the version that came with Cat. I guess the main difference of the helmet is that the newer one is much more glossier, a darker shade of pink, if you will. Yeah. As for the other one, I don't know. I'm kind of feeling this one. The helmet looks much more elegant as compared to the other one, or as compared to the remastered one, in a way, or in my point of view. I'm not sure. You guys can take a screenshot. You can take a screenshot of this and let me know what you guys actually think. The cat version of the helmet looks much more symmetrical, or looks much more elegant, as compared to the remastered version. It looks a slightly bit more bulkier, just slightly bit. Or I could be making stuff up and these two are exactly the same mold. I'm actually just looking at these behind a camera. So yeah. Let's see, is there anything here to say that these two are different molds? Maybe. Yeah, I'm pretty much quite confident that these two are entirely different molds. Pretty sure. Pretty sure. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Never said I was always correct. So yeah, here is the remastered Pink Ranger. As for the Power Bowl, let's see, do we have any differences with regards to the Power Bowl? Power Bowl. No, I don't think I see any kind of differences. I mean, this is me looking at it in real time while you're looking at this from a camera angle. So let's just remove the older version and then let's compare this one side by side. Yeah, almost looks like there's no difference. It's much, the only difference is that it's much more detailed because you can see the indents are much more cleaner than the older one. Yeah. Oh well, that's the new one and that's the old one. So yeah, let me know what you guys think with relation to the first iteration, sorry, with regards to the first version of Kimberly, and of course the second version of Kimberly, and finally the remastered version of Kimberly. So we do have all three versions of her, all three versions of the Pterodactyl Ranger. Yep. So yeah, take a screenshot if you guys want. Do with it as you will. Let me just double check on chat for a little bit. Do I play with these? I used to play with Power Rangers when you were small. Yeah, I actually just collect them. Deadman Rider. Same. Used to think you used to mix all Power Rangers, Avengers, Transformers together. That's nice. That's very creative of you. Remastered, make her look thicker. In a way, I suppose. Yeah, the remastered version does make her look a little bit more thicker. When do these hit? Sorry, when do these three release in the States? I actually have no idea. Usually, if we at Malaysia get them, and then more or less like a couple of weeks, maybe a month or two, then the US would get theirs. Yeah, so hopefully I get to get my video out before that actually happens. So we've been spending, a little bit longer time than I would like on Kimberly, so guess we can move on to our Green Ranger figure. Or should I save Green Ranger for last? Oh, this one is the effect piece. It's a very new effect piece. I haven't seen this one yet. I haven't seen it before, but it's mainly meant to be on the floor, or it's mainly meant to be on the ground. Yeah, it's a nice transformation effect piece, or a type of teleportation effect piece. Something like that. That's what you can do with it. Okay, so I guess that should be it with regards to Kimberly. So I do hope I don't lose these accessories while I am just putting them aside for now. Yeah, I guess up next we can just take a look at Tommy. So because Tommy here doesn't really have his dragon shield, he's just basically a depowered version, or the original. He's in his original form. If you read the comics, the dragon shield was just mainly, pre-added on later if you read the comics. So here is the front of the packaging. You do have the Green Ranger. If he did not have his dragon shield, you do have a nice art of the Green Ranger blowing the dragon dagger, playing the dragon flute. For his helmet, it does look a little bit weird, but luckily for us, the figure version isn't really that weird at all. Same thing you get here, the main art of the 30th anniversary of the Rangers itself. The back of the figure, sorry, the back of the box does look amazing, very clean. And right here, you get all of the main accessories. So you do get Tommy with a new head sculpt. He kind of looks really like a 3D character. Not gonna lie, if Mighty Morphin Power Rangers made a animated series, that would be the face, or that would be the head that they would use. Yeah, but we do get a new Green Ranger helmet sculpt. It kind of looks a little bit bulky, not gonna lie, kinda. He does come with his morpher. Oops. Slightly bit dark over here. Does come with his morpher, dragon dagger, green candle, a new accessory. He, for some reason, he does come with the blade blaster, both in the holstered mode, blaster mode, and blade mode. Same effect pieces. He does come with fists, weapon holding hands, morpher posing hands. I guess no, this is the dragon dagger, flute summoning posing hand. This is the morpher holding hand, and this is probably the posing hand for the morpher as well, which can most likely double up as this as the posing hand for this particular hand effect piece. And of course, if you would like to pose the box in a proper way, this is where, or this is how you'll be facing the box itself. Here. Oh man, I am so glad this particular figure came in, but I am so concerned that I might not be able to make a video about this Green Ranger in time. So if I were to make a video, I guess I'll just make a video of the Green Ranger first, and then and only then I'll make a video of the Red Ranger. Or should I do it the other way? Let me know. For any one of you who have already watched my Turbo Red Ranger review, yep, you can let me know itself, since I saved the Turbo Ranger as the best for last. So as I mentioned before, there is one accessory that comes with the figure itself, and this time we do have the green candle. So since we have the green candle right here, let's just take a quick look at it. Nice little green shape or green candle, and the burning part of the candle is painted in a yellow paint. Yeah, I kind of like how it does have the wax slowly dripping down because it's burning. We do get a regular, gold, oops, gold plastic candle holder. Yeah, it's a little bit deformed, not gonna lie, just a little bit. If I were to just place it on the table, it actually, it actually can like stand on the table. It's not really focusing, but I guess the main idea here is that for this green candle, is molded in a, gold plastic and painted in green and yellow. Yeah, so there goes an accessory that I believe not many people actually like, or not many people actually wanted. The Dragon Shield story is so interesting. Yep. Pretty cool accessory, exactly. Let's see. Can I show, please? I have no idea. Yeah. Okay. So going back to the main figure itself. Sorry about that. I was just looking at chat. It's on a computer on my table. Okay. So we do have the Green Ranger. So let me just slowly try to pose him in such a way that he looks a little bit more presentable. So first things first, we do have his new head sculpt, like his civilian head sculpt. As I mentioned before, it really does look like an animated version of JDF. So I guess if I honestly have no idea what people. I honestly don't know what else to say. It just really looked like an animated version of the JDF face sculpt or head sculpt, and of course, it's kind of nice to see that his earring is also painted in gold over here. The hair is quite pretty. The hair is quite nice. It does remind you of the version of the Green Ranger when he first debuted. Yep. Let's take a look at the neck. So again, if you want to pop off the head, just simply let the figure look up and you just slowly push it upwards. However, for this version, for this version of the head, I can't really get proper leverage because he doesn't have a thick chin. It's a very thin chin, not gonna lie. So hopefully that doesn't, or hopefully my technique doesn't backfire on me. But yeah, this is Tommy's head. As for the neck of the figure, so a lot of times when I've been looking at product shots, I keep thinking that maybe a lot of people don't know how to pose the neck. At first, I thought that because this neck here, it does have this, a suit line, if you can see. So I thought the figure, when it came out of the box, the position of the neck is 180 degrees. It's wrong on a 180-degree type of landscape. Yeah. So, and then when I take a look at the back of the figure, the back of the figures or the back of the neck, it still has that particular suit zip line. Then what I did was I tried to look at it from a side angle, trying to see which side of the neck looked more like an Adam's apple, and I really do feel that this side of the neck looks more like an Adam's apple. Like you can see that triangular type of angle for that particular neck itself. So the only thing that's making these figures look weird with relation to the neck, like they have like very long bulging necks, is because that I believe these remastered figures are meant to depict the Rangers or the version of the Rangers when they're in their when they look like or how they look like in the American footage. Because the only explanation I can think of as to why this area here is not smoothly made, like it's meant to look like it's a little bit baggy, is because the American footage of the Rangers that we got when they did not have their helmets on, it does look like their white collar. It does look like the white collar that they had looked a little bit more baggy. Yeah, so that's the only explanation I can think of why it was designed this way. If you had other theories, you feel free to let me know what that is. So as for his particular neck, again, you can just twist it. If you think that version looks a little bit off, you can twist the neck, 360. This is what it will look like if you twist it 360. Not sure if it will look nicer. Yeah, no, it doesn't look that nice at all. If I turn it, 360, if I turn it around that way. Even if I plug his head in, it still doesn't look as nice. Maybe it does look slightly bit nicer, but oh well. I suppose maybe this way, it's fine. It's fine, I'm just nitpicking anyways. So let me just twisty hit another 360. Yeah, so again, this hit, it does go around 360, so do be careful. Do be careful when you're handling it. As for the neck of the particular figure, again, it's a new type of neck joint or a new type of body joint, so it does look a little bit off if you're quite used to the older body molds of the Green Ranger or the older body molds of what Hasbro used to make. But unlike what Hasbro used to make, we finally do get a Green Ranger that has the center diamonds. Because if you remember, one of the versions of the Green Ranger did not have a center diamond. So if you were to remove the Dragon Shield itself, you just have a blank, you just don't have that center diamond in the middle, which is kind of a bummer. As for the back diamonds, again, slightly bit off, just slightly, but again, I still don't mind. I don't mind it at all, one bit. The butterfly joints are, of course, molded in white plastic, so that way when you do pose with it, it doesn't break the illusion of the suit. The same type of articulation that you would usually get on a Lightning Collection figure. This time, of course, it is a pinless joint, so customizing is slightly bit difficult as usual, but not to worry. Why would you want to customize a remastered Green Ranger when more or less they're going to cost a pretty penny? As for the gloves of the figure, again, I think, okay, so judging by how this one looks, so if you can see that there are this green area here on the edge of the cuff, this is how you can differentiate or how you can find out whether or not if a figure was molded in a specific color or whether was it painted. Because the glove of the Green Ranger figure is actually just molded in green plastic. That's the main that's the main call that I can basically see. Sorry, that's the main tell that I can find out whether or not what type of plastic it was molded in. So the glove section is molded in a green plastic, and then the white section here along with this extra green and gold, they're all just painted on. Yeah, because ain't no way this area of the green is actually painted. Otherwise, I would be easily, or I can easily just scratch that paint right off. Speaking of paint, the entirety, it is a nice shade of green all throughout. Slightly bit brighter though. As for the morpher, This is a nice morpher, you know, properly gold color morpher as the Green Ranger should have. And you do have his dragon shield, you know, nicely printed on as well. The morpher again is still, you can still see a type of bump for the morpher. So again, try not to make the figure land on this position. Otherwise, you might scrape some paint. As for the belt, let's see the black lines of the belt. Yeah, no indents. No indents. The black is just drawn on. Yep, the black is just drawn on. I can basically do the same thing with my older figures as well. I can just take a panel line pen and just do the same thing. So yeah, since it's drawn on, just be careful because you still would be able to scrape the paint. As for his holster, I believe a lot of people all did mention that the holster is the Blade Blaster holster and not the uh, not the original Green Ranger holster. So, you know, that's one thing to point out as well. It's painted in black. Yeah, it's painted in black. How I say it's painted in black is because, you know, a little bit of that paint is starting to chip from the inside. Yeah. Oh well, that's Hasbro for you. As for the legs, it's still the same drop-down hip legs. You can see how, you know, how it's spreading this way. Usually, you know, you just gotta be careful if you want to pose anything with a drop-down hip nowadays, because otherwise you might just damage the main joint that you see right here. Yep, so at least you can do a good split. So that is one benefit of having drop-down hips. And of course, if you want to pose him to do higher type of kicks, the drop-down hips would allow you to do so. Yep. Let's see here. What else are we missing, or what else are we not referring to? As for the boots, we do have the same pivot over here. The boots here are, of course, molded in white plastic. This time, however, is molded in white plastic, and the everything else is all painted in its appropriated color, or its appropriate color. Yeah. Let me just double check on the chat for a little bit. I think I may have missed a few. I guess the main idea is that Tommy here is a Giga Chat. Infinite 1985, welcome to the stream. Can't wait to get Red and Green remastered. Red will replace your original Red with the new helmet from the Color Swap 2-pack, and Green will wear the Dragon Shield. Pose with your 6. Nice, nice. That's probably what they're going for. Yep, chat Tommy. Oh well. Okay, so I guess that should be it with regards to the main body mold for the Green Ranger Tommy. I guess it all depends whether do you like the drop-down hips or not. Yeah. Let's go for the accessories so that way we won't have a hitless Tommy right over here. A hitless Tommy. That's very appropriate. Let's just slowly pour out the main accessories that we can see over here. Okay, so just to make sure everything else goes well, this is the new Green Ranger helmet. And of course, I guess for every one of you who's slightly bit disappointed, the teeth are all still painted in silver. So it's not actually white and silver teeth, it's all just pure silver. So yeah, I guess we might get a remastered 2, Tommy. I'm just kidding. I hope not. Please, oh, for the love of God, don't do that. The remastered version of, imagine if Hasbro release the remastered Green Ranger 2.0 that comes with a dragon shield that's probably not removable, I guess, and then the proper helmet sculpt with the white lines on the helmet. I am so worried that I might just break this on camera. So just give me a little while I try to push the head in. Okay, I am not gonna push it down any more further. I'm not gonna push it down any further because that sounds scary. Yeah, if your Ranger figure head is kinda stuck, or it won't budge, just put it in hot water or take a hair dryer and try to, you know, warm it up lightly. Okay, so yeah, here we do have the Green Ranger helmet. It's a new helmet sculpt. Why? Because it's the much more better looking helmet sculpt. Yeah. Yeah, the helmet really does look much more better than the other versions of it. We will do a quick comparison with the other versions. I do have them waiting in line just to get in front of the camera. So we do get a nice visor, yeah, and then of course the main top area of the particular helmet, he still does get the black eyes that, you know, as he should. As for the diamond though, the gold outline isn't really that obvious. I mean, you can kind of see it since I'm showing it towards you in the on the camera, but when you're holding it or if you're looking at it at a certain angle, you can't really see the gold outline. Yeah, so if you want to take any kind of product shots, you gotta be more wary of that. As for the red diamond, I guess the ruby diamond, so yeah, for the ruby, yeah, it's what you would expect for a Green Ranger. Honestly, this is quite nice. I mean, it is a Green Ranger after all, so, you know, everyone's favorite 6 Ranger, just because he looked cool in one episode. Over here, you do also have the same effect piece, the same one that we would basically, or that we have seen time and time and again. Mine is kind of a little bit bent, so if you want to make sure that it looks even more cooler, try to heat it up and then cool it down with some cold water. Yep, so that one is for the effect piece. We do get a nice looking morpher. Now for my morpher, I just have a slight minor complaint, just a minor one. My dragon shield coin, sorry, my dragon coin is slightly off centered. It's not properly centered, it's just, you know, slightly bit off. I don't really mind it because I don't think I see myself posing the figure with it. So yeah, do with that information what you will. All of these type of tiny little accessories are of course a hit or miss. And of course, since the morpher is gold in color, Hasbro just decided to give us a gold morpher. Make the morpher paint. Sorry, Hasbro decided to give us a morpher that is molded in a gold plastic. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. As for the accessories, we still do get the same type of accessories over here. We do get the Blade Blaster in holstered mode, in blast mode, and in blade mode. Yeah. Of course, the new Blade Blaster is, of course, it's a new mold. You have the hole or the peg hole inside. So if you do have any shooting effect piece, you can basically place that in here as well. Yeah, so that one is for the blasters. Let's just take a look at his hands. So of course he is holding his weapon holding hands, and just like what we've seen earlier, these are his fists, the same ones that came with the original releases, I guess. Over here you do have the dragon flute holding hand, in case if you want the uh in case if you want Tommy to just hold his flute in one hand, you know, something like that. And of course, you do have the new hands for the morpher holding hand. Yeah, so the morpher holding hand, as usual. Let's see if I can place this on properly. Nope, it's this way. Yeah, so it basically looks like this. These accessories are very tiny, so, you know, try not to drop them and then lose them for all eternity. Especially if you have carpeted floors. I don't I don't have them here in Malaysia, but at the same time you still lose things when they roll underneath a certain table. Over here you do get the nice looking dragon dagger, signature weapon of the Green Ranger. It's very nicely painted, very nice indeed. All of the tiny little details have been painted. So I believe this is where our money went to, since if you would have seen a few of the MMPR Toys YouTube channel video, they've done a great explanation as to how they price stuff. So I assume that for the quality of paint that we got for this weapon, with all of the gold available over here, this is probably why we got Tommy priced as the way he is. Probably. Who knows? Who knows? Okay, so we do have the Fighting Spirit, the Fighting Spirit version. Let me just put down the camera a little bit. And then we do have our first original release version. I believe that's all the Green Rangers that we have. Correct me if I'm wrong. So first things first, we do have the first iteration of the helmet that came with the original Green Ranger that we see right there on the back. This would be the first version that we've gotten. This is not the one that came with Wave 6. Yeah, so this is the original version. It kind of looks alright. At first glance, it looks better when it's on the side, but a lot of the times, a lot of people mention that if you look at it from the front, it looks kind of weird. Depends. For the diamond isn't really properly shaped, I guess. And it's just basically a red paint just dripped on to the center of that diamond. Again, the teeth, they're not white and silver, they're just pure silver, and that is the mouth plate itself. So if you compare it to the remastered version, so of course the remastered version definitely is 100 times better. It's definitely much better than the original version over here. It is slightly bit bulkier or more rectangular in shape, if I can mention that, if that's one way to describe it, because the original one is more oval shaped. Yeah, something like that. As for the mouth plate, the mouth plate is considered quite alright. Kinda. Yeah, the remastered version is definitely much more better than the original. Mm. Okay, so that one is for the remastered version and the original. As for the Fighting Spirit version, so of course the Fighting Spirit version does have the white holster on this side. And then of course, one thing that quite surprises me is that the Fighting Spirit version does have the correct visor paint, the white and the silver. Yeah, that one is quite surprising. And then of course, you do have the silver on the tip of the particular helmet. Yeah. Of course, this one is the exact same mode as the one that we got from the original release or the second release of the Green Ranger. So the main comparison between these two helmets are most likely going to be the same as what we compared before. Yeah, so I guess it just depends, which version do you want? If you can't get a hold of the remastered version, the original, both Fighting Spirit and the second release or the third release from Wave 6, those would be good replacements, As for the belt, for both the first one and the second one, they got the details right in regards to how a Green Ranger should look. As for the original release or the second release, he doesn't have the green diamond. I mean, he doesn't have the white diamond in the center. So that is the one that was what I was referring to. This is his dragon dagger. Totally not. Totally, the remastered version is 10 times more superior than the original dragon dagger, of course. Let's see, what about the Fighting Spirit version? Yeah, the Fighting Spirit version is also, definitely inferior than the remastered version. Well, at least Hasbro has gotten the buttons on the Dragon Dagger. So that's a plus. That's just the bonus point for Hasbro themselves. Okay, so in case if any one of you would like to take any kind of screenshots in between this particular review or this particular live stream, you guys can feel free to do so. How are we doing on time, by the way? Because I'm also recording this. Let me just double check. They are not properly centered. Let me just move this slightly bit here. Yeah, because after this stream, I'm probably just going to take a quick couple of pictures so I can combine them all into a type of video. Yeah, because I'll be very busy indeed. So we've been streaming for 1 hour and 3 minutes. So yeah, that is kind of cool. Many a tiny accessory that has been gobbled up by the carpet monster and later on the vacuum. Yeah, sorry to hear that about your accessories though. So yeah, that one should be it with regards to Tommy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a quick 1 or 2 minute break just so I can get a sip of water. All of you guys, feel free to talk amongst yourselves while I take something to drink just for a little bit, just for a minute at least. You love the arms, the rest of them. Wait, rest closer to the side, the arms. Yep, exactly. The new arms, they do in fact rest much more closer to the side of the body. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna check my messages, take a sip of water, and then I'll get back to you shortly. Just a minute, that's all. Okay, and we're back, and we do have 40% left on the on the phone battery, so I guess we're doing quite good for time. I did in a way chug down almost half of a bottle, so a burp might come up at any time. So before we do before that happens, let me just remove the other Tommies from the screen. Thank you so much for your time, regular Tommy. We will see you soon later on once we take a closer look at uh, at the Dragon Shield Red Ranger. So in case you all didn't know, the video game for Legacy Wars, the way they call or the way they named Jason, they named him as the Dragon Shield Red Ranger. So ever since then, I've been calling every Dragon Shield character with the name Dragon Shield and then so on and so forth. So I guess without further ado, this is our main event, the Dragon Shield Red Ranger. So hope you guys don't mind me calling him that for the rest of this particular stream. So in case any one of you, only just wanted to watch the stream for the Mighty Morphin Red Ranger or the Dragon Shield Red Ranger, feel free to come back and join in on the live stream itself. Okay, so here is the main front of the box. You do get a nice rendering of the Red Ranger in his Dragon Shield. Or in Tommy's Dragon Shield. You do get a nice looking 30th anniversary box art. Again, you do have the 30th anniversary box art on the side of the box. Here, you do get a nice picture of the Red Ranger with his morpher, which should have been gold. But of course, this one is based on the power transfer episode, I think. Over here at the back of the figure, you do get the same effect pieces. You do get a power sword. Over here, you do get the dragon shield accessories, the removable armbands, and the removable shield. Why it is also removable, because you do, or you will be able to see a type of gap over here. So that is quite interesting for the box art. You still get the power blaster, sorry, the blade blaster, both in blade mode, blast mode, holster mode. You also do get the Tyrannosaurus morpher. You get the Red Ranger, which has a minor error of the box art. It should be in white, but not to worry, it's still white. You do get the entirety of the new Red Ranger and his new accessories. So for his accessories is a little bit lesser. You do get his weapon holding hands, his fists, and of course the new morpher holding hands, which should be a standard for all of the remastered versions. And of course, you do get a nice rendering of the Red Ranger holding his morpher on the side of the box. So without further ado, I guess we all can crack this thing open. Let's just double check to see what is on the chat before we remove him out of the box. Let's see here. I love that the arms are pressed closer. Jason and Tommy really should have been a green candle 2-pack. Yeah, I guess so. I've seen online images of people doing Photoshop to say, what should have actually happened. But I guess Hasbro really wanted to sell the remastered Ranger line. So, yeah. Well, is my prediction of them re-releasing a singular Red Ranger with the, Dragon Shield. I guess that prediction was correct. Who knows? Maybe they might release another Red Ranger remastered figure with the Jason head sculpt, because this set doesn't actually come with the humanoid head sculpt. Or the civilian head sculpt. Sorry about that. One thing about these boxes before I remove this guy, there is a tape over here on the box and then on the main plastic or the paper. So if you don't want to rip the paper, you gotta find a way to get a blade to cut this off. Yeah, that's one thing to take note of. Let's see here. So the way I opened this when I was in the shop is I slowly just open it like this, and then I just slide out the figure. Yeah, so not really gonna like this box anymore. So glad that we might be getting the window packaging back, you know, once Hasbro gets out of their hiatus. So over here, this is where we'll get to see the Dragon Shield Red Ranger in all of his glory. Very nice. Definitely looks much more bulkier with his Dragon Shield. Let me just bend down the camera a little bit, and let me just zoom in the camera a little bit, just so everyone else can to enjoy the Red Ranger. And of course, his signature weapon, the Power Sword, does come in this area over here. So remind me again, is this episode from if this Ranger, was this Ranger molded after the episode called Gung Ho or the Power Transfer? Because I forget. Over here, you do get a Power Sword, nicely sculpted, nicely painted, nicely molded indeed. All of the nice gold paint painted. Sadly enough, we don't have the black paint on the sword itself, but not to worry, we can easily paint that in with some panel line paint. Let me just open up my accessory box so that way we can get to have a quick comparison with the weapon before we take a closer look at the figure. Let's see here. Yep, so this would be the older version or the original version of the Power Sword. You can see how bland it is. If we were to remove Jason from the side, since he is taking the focus away. Yeah. It's the same mold though. Kind of looks like the same mold. I guess that's one way to confirm it. It is the exact same mold, just just the paint differences. It might be a different mold, just slightly bit different, but a slight differentiation doesn't necessarily mean that you have to get this particular figure. All right, so that's just one thing I'm just going to point out just for a little bit. So since we don't have a human head sculpt, not to worry, we still get to compare the nice Red Ranger head sculpt or the helmet sculpt itself. So for the helmet sculpt, this would be the new helmet sculpt that we have seen before, I believe, more or less from the Metallic Red Ranger, as well as the color swap 2-pack of Trini and Jason. Again, you don't get the white, it's all just silver for the teeth of the Tyrannosaurus. At least we still do get some black Tyrannosaurus eyes, so that's good. Here is the mouth. Yeah, so that's the mouth plate here. So before we get to take a deeper look into the dragon shield and how you get to remove the figure, I actually do have Trini from the 2-pack. So she does come with the newer version of the helmet. So just for a quick comparison, yeah, maybe I should just let Trini lend this to me, please. Okay, so here is the helmets side by side. So both of these are considered quite new helmet sculpts. Either it's so I know that my Trini helmet does have a little bit of paint chipping or paint bleeding, which kinda interrupts with the comparison a little bit, but more or less from a first impression point of view, the helmets are more or less the same. More or less. I suppose if I were to switch these helmets amongst each other, you probably wouldn't know the difference. Yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, just from this video perspective, because I mean, I could look at it closer in person, but I'm just using the camera to view the product even more. Oops, there goes the helmet. And then let's say if we were to compare it to the original release of the Red Ranger, Jason, right here, with a much more 3D looking face. This would be the helmet that came with it, the helmet that not many people liked. Yeah, I had to customize mine just so that it looked at least slightly bit decent. So in case you all didn't know, this helmet really does suit the female Red Ranger helmet nicely. I mean, the female Red Ranger body mode nicely, due to how slim the design is. So in case you guys wanted to switch, you guys can switch. But yeah, so look how far we've come. We started from this particular helmet sculpt. We started from this particular helmet sculpt all the way to the Trini 2-pack helmet sculpt, and then now we do have the remastered version of the helmet sculpt. I do have metallic red. If you guys seen my previous reviews of the metallic rangers, you guys can check that out in my particular playlist. But metallic red is actually at a display case somewhere else. So yeah, so that is the helmet review, the helmet section of the particular review itself. Now we get to go on to the main event, but before that, I'm just yanking all of your chains right now. So here we do have the new belt sculpt, the Morpher, the T-Rex, nicely printed on. It's not actually, the coin is not molded on, so the coin is printed on, so that's nicely done. Again, there is a bump for the belt, so do be careful not to scrape anything against it. The black lines, again, still painted on because I am not feeling any kind of indents for the particular black lines. Be careful, as you might scrape the paint off. As for the holster, weapon holster, yeah, for the weapon holster there are indents. It's just that the black line might be slightly bit overflowing, or they actually did paint inside of the indents itself. Yeah. As for the arm of the figure, it's still pinless. Yep, it's still pinless. Of course, the glove is originally it was originally molded in a red plastic where the white is painted on along with the red diamonds as well. So that's one thing. He does come with drop-down hips, technically also allowing him to do a beautiful spread. If I warm up his hips first, but yeah, this is one of the few nice splits of the Rangers. You do get a standard Lightning Collection legs as usual, and of course the regular boots. So yeah, that is the main look of the Dragon Shield Red Ranger. Okay, thanks, bye. No, I'm just kidding. Now we'll basically get to take a look at the how do you call it, the Dragon Shield itself. So the Dragon Shield is a very, very new mold. You know, if you guys can, or if you guys have seen it from how do you say, if you guys have seen online pictures, because now if we do compare it with the other Dragon Shields that we've had or that we've previously gotten, the most clearer one would be from the Fighting Spirit version. Yeah, so for the Fighting Spirit version, there really isn't much of a gap in between the, you know, the how would you call it, the design. Yeah, the design of it. So a lot of the times what I would usually suggest, or what I would usually mention, is that the original Dragon Shields, these are the Sentai version, whereas the version that you see right here, this one is the American version. So why would I say that? It's because the design of this Dragon Shield, you can see that there's a curve right here, all the way down to this area, and it's not actually combined with the diamond. Whereas if you were to take a look at the Fighting Spirit version, it's just immediately just slightly bit combined with the diamond here itself. So yeah, if you want to go, or if you want to nitpick a little bit, I would say that this would be the American Shield and this one would be the Sentai Shield. Either that or Hasbro still hasn't mastered how to make a Dragon Shield for the Lightning Collection. Yeah, so that is one thing to take notice of. As for the particular back of the armor, or the back of the Dragon Shield itself, you do have 4 holes. These 2 holes at the bottom and these other 2 on top. I am not too sure why there are holes at the top, but what I really think, what I truly believe, is that these 2 holes on top it's mainly if you want to switch the Dragon Shield with the female figures, in which we will take a look at later on. So this is the, you know, the new Dragon Shield, which is quite nice. You know, a nice gloss to it, a nice gold colored gloss to it. It's how would you say, a gold infused plastic, or gold injected plastic, if you will, or if you can call it that way. So yeah, yeah, that's definitely the American one. Exactly. So let's just see how we're gonna remove this. Yeah. So first things first, let's try to remove something easy, like the bands itself. So of course the bands are easily removable. Thankfully, you can just slide them off. The main riskiness is that I'm most likely worried about is that, oh, okay, so these bands are quite soft. Oops. Yeah, these bands are quite soft. Almost looks like a golden ring, honestly. So since these bands are soft, the main concern here is that if you do keep your rangers in a box, or if you do keep this particular ranger in a box, or maybe even if you were to pose it for quite a long time, there might be a chance that the soft rubber plastic will deteriorate and then it might break. So yeah, that's one concern that you need to take notice of. So that's number 1. Number 2, let's see if I were to remove this properly. The connectors, well, at least the connectors, they do kind of look quite thick. Yeah. Let's see if I can pop them out. Oh, okay. So popping out the shield is relatively easy. So again, if you want to pop up the helmet, use my technique, make the figure look up as high as it can, use your thumb at the chin, and then there you go. Much more easier. you won't really have to worry about plucking the whole part, the neck joint off the figure. So this is how I'll be able to remove it. And of course, we do get to see a nice interior of the Red Ranger. Yeah. Again, we do have the same neck comment that I mentioned earlier. So it depends on how you would like to pose your figure. So now, since this one is out of the way, we get to see a better close-up of the dragon shield. Yeah, the American dragon shield. Easily removable, easily posable, slightly a bit flimsy. So depending on how you take care of it, you might just, deteriorate the rubber or the soft rubber plastic. You still can, move the thing, sorry, the pegs into the peg holes, and thus making this area smaller. So since I already have Trini here, who is also using the original body mold, let me just remove, the newer body mold. Okay, was scary. So let's just put on the dragon shield on her, which looks very big on a female body mold. That's my main concern. That's always been my main concern. I'm still looking for like one of those soft vinyl figures that are like 3 to 4 inches, just so that I can chop that up and then give it to the female rangers, so that way they would have a much more better looking dragon shield on them. But yeah, so that is the main reason as to why the dragon shield has 2 other pins or 2 other peg holes at the back. It's just so that the female rangers can also wear the dragon shield. Because look at that, it's slightly bit loose, but it's not as loose as if you were to put the connectors at the bottom area over here. So yeah, so here we go. We do have Dragon Shield Trini. Slightly bit big, too big. She definitely had a fun time with Jason the other night. So that's why the shield looks oversized on her body. Yeah. Okay, let's just see if I can take Kimberly out, which is also using a new female body mold. So for the new Kimberly body mold, since she does look a little bit more thicker, let's just try to pop off the helmet, put on the dragon shield. So this way we can recreate the Pink Ranger from the comics, where she did get the dragon shield from the Shattered Grid storyline. So that's 1 plugged in, and that's 2 plugged in. Yep, so these 2 are plugged in. And again, yeah, it just looks too big, honestly. It's not, it doesn't how do you say, the shield doesn't flop as much because of how the bands are adjustable. But just by looking at it like this, I kind of feel like she's like a Saiyan warrior, if you know what I mean. Yeah, the Saiyan warriors that has the armor that has those flaps on the shoulder. The shoulder armor. But it does kind of look good though. I mean, if you look at it long enough, you might just think that the dragon shield does look quite good on her. If you look at it long enough. I mean, try to look at her long enough, and then you guys can let me know whether or not if this dragon shield is not out of place, while I take a look at chat for a little bit more. Let's see, you like the new one more? The tree one is fine though. Yep, that's what we did for the helmet. You really like this dragon shield. Yep, I kind of like it too. It's definitely the American one. Can I put the dragon shield on Dino Thunder Black and see how it looks? Sure. If when I make my video, I'll try to put it on I'll try to put it on Dino Thunder Black. Hello, Power Turtle Busters figure review. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for leaving a like. How's the drop down hips, and did they finally stop using it? Nope, they did not stop using it, because the dragon shield, because the drop down hips are still available on these new remastered figures. But I can tell you this, it's much more sturdier. It's much more sturdier. So if you do have some kind of super glue or whatnot that can make the drop down hips not as loose, like for my Green Ranger Tommy here, a little bit, just slightly bit loose. Yeah, so that I recommend you putting that on. So since you guys have seen Kimberly here with the Dragon Shield, you guys can let me know. Crap! Look at that! Look at that! Look at that gap. Okay, so if you guys have seen Dragon Shield Kimmy here for a very long time, maybe you guys can convince yourself that it's not really too big, then I guess that's good. Because I kind of convinced myself that it doesn't really look that big, kinda. I guess the only thing that's big would be the armbands, so we definitely need a different set of armbands that can fit the female arm. Yeah. Okay, so that one would be for Kimberly and her Dragon Shield. Let's try Tommy. Let's give Tommy back his Dragon Shield, shall we? So pop the head off again, leverage from the chin area. Let's slowly put on the, oh, let's see if there's any indication on the bands here. Oops. Yeah, I don't think there's any kind of indication to say which band is for which hand. So let's just slowly slide this up, or maybe it's this way. Maybe I'm just doing this as I go. So yeah, you can slide it up all the way up to the bicep swivel or the bicep cut, whichever you prefer. So that one can be done. Oh, I guess we can make a segment for future videos where will it Dragon Shield, or how does the Dragon Shield look on the new Ranger, since we now have a proper Dragon Shield that can be, how do you say, customizable, can be moved. That one is done. Let's just give him his Dragon Shield like normal. So let's say we plug it at the bottom area. I guess definitely if anyone wants an extra Dragon Shield, yeah, just go pick up another Red Ranger so that way you can get another Dragon Shield. If I can find a Red Ranger at a much more decent price, I would definitely do that. I'm just a little bit too lazy to plug in the head. Let me just plug it. Fine, let me just plug the helmet onto the body as usual, just so that you guys can get a nice look at it. Yep, here we have the American Green Ranger with the American Dragon Shield. That's nice, isn't it? That's definitely very nice looking. Yeah. What do you guys think so far of our new remastered Green Ranger? Let me check on chat. They should have made, let's see, they should have just made a smaller shield and armband on top of painting the bottom boots black. Yep, they didn't paint the bottom boots black. Only green will have it for minutes. I have to freeze up the drop hips. Did it on the comic male yellow MMPR. Nice. And the helmets are much more legit than the first ones. Feels like I wasted cash. I mean, it depends, honestly. PTBF, PTBFR. So it really honestly just depends on what kind of helmet that you actually prefer. Because as I mentioned earlier, if you look at the helmet from the side, it looks legit. Only if you look at it from the front, it looks a bit off. As for the newer helmets, they kind of remind me of a Zoo 2 footage type of helmet. Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, so I guess we can just do a gung-ho representation, I guess. So remove this shield, keep the armbands on, remove the head again. Yeah, honestly, just, if you guys have the cash, or if you find any kind of sale, or if you are able to get another Dragon Shield Red Ranger and another Green Ranger, if you want, just go ahead and get this just so that you can make this combination. Just give him his I haven't even looked at the Red Ranger's accessories yet. We're just literally sitting down here playing with the Dragon Shield. But of course, you guys would have already known what accessories he comes with. More or less, we just get the same hands, we get the same blade blaster. Yeah, more or less. So yeah, so here we do have red and green from the Gung Ho episode, where Tommy was able to provide the Green Ranger shield onto Jason while he still had his armbands. So yeah, if you guys want to take a screenshot, whatever picture, up to you guys. I'll leave it all to you. Looks great, you think? Yeah, of course. I mean, they all look great. They just look great. Hasbro didn't really need to go this hard, but of course, since it's the 30th anniversary, by default, they would have to go this hard on the Lightning Collection figures. So yeah, if Gung Ho was your favorite episode, this is what you can do with it. If not, you can just constantly keep on switching and mix and matching itself. But yeah, let's see what else we can do. My phone battery is down by 15%, so I guess that is a sign for us to end this review very soon. But before we do so, let's just pose these figures right next to each other, so that way, that way we can get a proper good thumbnail out of the video. Green does look a little bit taller, but I guess it's because I did not push his helmet down properly. I mean, of course, by default, I will have to take better pictures later on for the thumbnail. But it is getting quite late. It's almost like 10:45 p.m. right now in Malaysia timing. So yeah, let me know where you guys watching from, and let me know the particular time zone that you're in. While I take out the new effect pieces, you still get this effect piece, both red. Both two red effect pieces right here, which is kind of nice. Yeah, better take them all out because I'm just gonna keep these boxes with the plastic and not use them anymore. Sorry, they're paper baggies. So over here you do get the Tyrannosaurus Morpher. Yeah, kind of like nice indeed. So yeah, I've actually just clicked record on his live stream. So if I want to make a highlights video, I can make the highlights video first and then maybe focus on the reviews later on, or I can just do it in the same fashion as I have done so for my Turbo Red Ranger, Light Speed Rescue Blue, and the RPM Yellow review, where it's just mostly pictures and me just talking over said pictures. I'll probably just include a few video segments of me using the toys here and there, but that's mostly what I have time to do. Again, here is the arm that basically allows you to grab the morpher. Yep, so that one is quite nice indeed. All right, you're in Michigan and it's 10:45 a.m. Nice, good morning indeed. Have I ever considered getting these Mezco versions? No, I don't have the funds for that. I don't think I want to. I don't want to always keep on touching MMPR. I have too many of them as it is. I have all of the Lightning Collection versions. I have the SH Figquads versions. I don't think those would be good videos to make at all, but I still do have them. I can post them on my Instagram itself, just so you guys can take a look at. Kiro Clow, I guess. You really thought they would have painted the Pink Ranger's bow and arrow since the other weapons had more paint. Is the Pink Ranger not... I mean, is this not really how the Pink Ranger's bow and arrow looks like? I may have to double check it again online, but yeah, that's what it is. Let's see, is green buffer than red? I believe not. They are both basically the exact same mold. It's just that green just doesn't have the dragon shield. Yeah, it's definitely just your eyes playing tricks on you. And of course, the position of the figures posing itself, because more or less they're all just the same exact mold. Even the belt is more or less the exact same belts as all of the other remastered Rangers. Yeah.
Let's see here. I guess that should be it with regards to all of the comments that I am looking at right now. Phone battery is currently at 10%, sorry, 9%. I guess it's gonna die out very soon. So that should be it for today's review. Thank you guys so much for sticking around and joining, and for, of course, watching this live stream review. If you like this live stream video, do feel free to leave a like, drop a comment, and of course, feel free to subscribe, because I'm going to make the individual reviews of red and green, pink maybe a little bit later on, but for now, I'm just going to rush make my review of both red and green. So, do stick around for that. Thank you all so much for, again, watching and sticking around for this particular live stream. If I had time to, edit the live stream to turn it into a live stream highlights, I would. So also, of course, do stick around for that one as well. Yeah. Thanks for this bit. You go get them. Yep, of course, go get them. I hope you get to find them as well. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I guess that should be it. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll hope to see you all next time on the next live stream. Hopefully we get to get another new figure and we get to rush those particular reviews as well. Okay. That should be it. This is KID and the Man, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.